Now, it's a bold claim, but the satellite communications company OneWeb now says that for the first time, internet connectivity from space will be available at the summit of Mount Snowdon, one of the UK's most remote and connectively challenged locations. The company, which is part owned by UK taxpayers and which is in the process of merging with the French satellite operator Eutelsat, says such connectivity will be vital for businesses, emergency response teams and armed forces around the world. Well, with me now for more on this is the Vice President of OneWeb Europe, Carole Plessy. Carole, welcome to you. This is possible, of course, by your low Earth orbit satellite network.
Absolutely. So last week we demonstrated OneWeb low Earth orbit connectivity using a Kymeta flat panel user terminal with a team of first responder that went up to Mount Snowdon, and for the first time ever had a live video stream from a dead zone that's quite notorious in the region. And this was really to demonstrate what the power of low Earth orbit satellite connectivity can do, not only for the UK, but wider on a global basis. In the UK alone, 8% of the land masses do not have 4G or even completely absent communication. And there are estimated 3,000 rescue calls a year in Britain. So for those teams intervening on site, this is a game changer. Today, they can go on a difficult mission with no connectivity. Now with OneWeb and this flat panel transportable technology, they can be mounted on a vehicle. They can run a network up to 1 kilometer around the vehicle, enabling all the first responder to communicate live. And that's not just voice, it's live video call, it's rich data exchange of map, weather warning, flooding, effectively communicating with the control center, hospitals, all the time. And this is really changing even the safety of the first responder teams themselves. Now, beyond the UK, this technology is very relevant in Europe. There are a lot of wildfire responses units that will need the same technology. Maybe the infrastructure has gone due to a fire, or if we take the example of Turkey, it's very particularly places where all the fiber connectivity has gone down. So OneWeb is really bringing that high speed, low latency, reliable connectivity to pretty much where the places are unconnected.
How much does it cost to get to this point?
For OneWeb, that has been a long story. We had a first instance of OneWeb, and we re-emerged in 2020 with new investors, the British government. Barty is a very large investor, part of OneWeb. We now have Eutelsat as the second largest investors. As you mentioned, we are going to merge with Eutelsat, who is operating a geostationary network of satellites, which is quite different from ours. So the combined entity will provide low Earth orbits, so that's high-speed, low-latency connectivity with geo capabilities, which also has high bandwidth, but different type of latency profile.
And assuming this merger goes through, if I'm a user, will I be able to switch from one type of satellite to the other relatively seamlessly?
Absolutely. In the longer term, we will have solutions that are embedded on the same terminal, the user terminal. In the short term, our customers use a combination of both network, depending on the use cases. For instance, today with OneWeb, low latency is effectively the time it takes for the data to go from the remote site to the satellite down back to the ground. And why it matters, it enables live data, video streaming in particular, cloud application to function. On traditional satellite, those applications are out of reach. And the most prominent one of them is cellular backhauling. So effectively with OneWeb technology, you can expand networks beyond fiber. And this is why we work with telecommunication partners and mobile network operators in a way that was not possible before. Now, the geo component of Eutelsat brings us vast bandwidth for different applications and just internet browsing perfectly fine on traditional satellites. But low Earth orbit satellites like OneWeb provide something quite unique, which is more like a fiber-like in the sky.
You say it's quite unique, but there are other players who are muscling in this area. Elon Musk, Starlink, for example, Blue Origin owned by Jeff Bezos. Are you going to be able to make a decent return on this investment?
To be honest, the interest in space, in that type of technology, shows you that there's a huge need. And that's why there is space for more than one player. We also differentiate ourselves very neatly against our solution because we work with in-country partners. We work with telecommunication operators, we work with mobile network operators who have the licenses in-country to operate. And what we do is to provide the last 1-2% of the area they cannot cover where fiber is not viable or not even feasible in some region. And that's our differentiator. We work in partnership, and we want to be the trusted satellite operators that provide solutions to telecommunication operators.
All right, Carole, we have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.